Hello everyone, we hope you're having a great day today. To start off, our client was Bibliodate. So just to give a little bit of introduction on who we are and a little insight onto what we contributed to our client and as a team overall. My name is Dave Valenzuela and I am the Client Services Coordinator. I served as the primary point of contact for our client. I handled and maintained all communication via Microsoft Outlook. I also set up Zoom meetings with our client, which included the client consultation, where we all met up with our client and had the client services agreement reviewed and signed by both parties. And I also kept a record of all communication with our client in our Google Drive and maintained and relayed messages to the team throughout our campaign.
Hi everyone, I'm Crystal. I was the campaign book manager for this campaign. My role was to morph the initial proposal into the final campaign book and also make sure that our entire book reflected our work done during this campaign.
Hi, I'm Miranda. I was our campaign schedule manager. My role was to make sure that we were staying on top of our goals and meeting our goals each week and making sure that we actually had time to all get together, whether it be in person or via Zoom.
Hi, I'm Megan. I was the strategy and research planner this semester for our campaign. Part of my goals and role in our campaign was to make sure that everyone was on track and strategizing how each of their roles could implement our goals.
Hello everyone, I'm JC Campona. I am the media content manager for the team, and I was basically just in charge of creating content calendars for the team to follow. Basically just to plan what kind of content we're creating and when we're pushing it out for the client.
So here's an overview of what we'll be discussing in our presentation today. We'll be giving a brief introduction to our client and what Bibliodate is, as well as providing key audiences and publics to show our marketplace and target audiences. We'll be covering the strategy, tools, objectives, and resources that we use as sort of the main frame of our campaign. We'll then go into campaign outcomes and talk about a little bit about the evaluation of success and our conclusions. So first and foremost, what is Bibliodate? Bibliodate is an up-and-coming online dating community for book lovers. The idea developed out of the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic as a way to increase interactions within the community. Our client consultation took place on Thursday, February 10th, 2022 via Zoom at 1 p.m. The client's goals that he had outlined for us was that he wanted to see an increase in website visibility as well as a boost in subscriber count, and to develop a social media presence. While meeting with our client, we also discussed the client services agreement where we all signed the agreement as well as went over the document as a whole and made sure all parties understood it. This led us to revising our goals, in which we'll be talking about further along in the presentation. We held additional client consultation or meetings with our client during the length of campaign, which took place March 24th, 2022, where we discussed the website development and social media brand revision, where we outlined a sort of like our overview of our revised goals to our client, as well as on April 5th, 2022 with a progress update on where we were.
So as we dive into a SWOT analysis for our client, we can see that some strengths include having sufficient funds to cover any website development or feature endeavors regarding branding material or advertisements for the company. The client was also extremely receptive to the team's suggestions and changes needed in order to run a successful website. As for the weaknesses, the client had an unfinished website which kind of created a sense of unreliability for prospective customers, especially since the website regarded transactions and money. There's also no employees actively working on the company or the website, which impedes internal and external growth within the market. There was also lack of subscribers to help build credibility for the website, and there was no brand identity or social media presence to kind of distinguish the unique value of the website over competitors within the market. As for the opportunity, Bibliodate was a new online community based on a very niche idea, and there's also the opportunity for an increase in revenue for our client with addition of new subscribers. As for threats, there's other dating websites that already have set algorithms and set strategies in place, such as Tinder, Hinge, Bumble. And there's competing book clubs, not just on the local level, but also book clubs connected to high-end celebrities such as Reese Witherspoon or Oprah Winfrey, who have book clubs already set in place. As we move into key audiences and publics, we found it most substantial to look at online dating users, as 40% of Americans are already utilizing online dating sites. And we looked at active readers, and there's the belief that readership in the United States is decreasing over the years, but within the last few years at least, Research has reflected that readership has been increasing just due to the fact that there's been an increase in mediums for accessibility, and the pandemic has also influenced people to take up more hobbies. As for Publix, we looked at libraries, book clubs, and local colleges within the area just for our client to reach out to different groups and businesses in order to create relationships, gaining awareness and promotions that are well within his range. As for demographics and psychographics more specifically, for online dating, we found that it was more substantial to target the age group 18 to 49, because these age groups are the people that are utilizing dating sites the most. This covers Gen Z, millennials, and the cusp of Gen X. We also found that men are most likely to use dating websites compared to women at a 52.4% over 47.6%, and those that are utilizing online dating sites are basically just looking to make meaningful connections, hoping to find a lifelong partner. As for active readers, we found that it was more substantial to target the same age group because the research that was reflected from these age groups, those who are actively reading, they have some sort of college education or college degree. And those who are active readers are looking to establish a sense of community with those who have similar interests with them, and they're just looking to expand their hobbies.
So throughout the completion of our campaign, our team used a variety of software, including Zoom, Google Drive, Excel, iMessage, Canva, and FunctionFox. These softwares allowed us to stay in constant communication with each other, keep organized. They allowed us to create creative content and log all of our hours. So FunctionFox was very useful in the completion of our campaign, as it not only allowed us to track our hours, but it allowed us to see how we were spending our time and if we were spending it productively. So Gabe, he spent most of his time communicating with our client and relaying that information back to us. JT spent a lot of his time researching other Instagram-related book communities that we can take inspiration from. Crystal spent a lot of time working on the campaign book, and Megan spent a lot of time creating creative content, and I did a lot of research on competitors and website developers that our client can use in the future. So our client provided us with access to Green Geeks, which gave us an inside look to the software that he used to host his web domain, and he also gave us full access to his Instagram as well as creative control. We used that creative control to change his profile picture to a clean and identifiable logo, and also update his biography, which we will touch on in further slides. So after our client consultation, our team found it in the best interest for not only us, but our client to revise our goals. So the goals we revised are, we wanted to change them to just establishing a brand identity, making sure the logo is clean and identifiable, creating a mission statement that resonates with our client, and developing a social media plan that our client can use in the future to push out content. So Bibliodate's mission statement that we curated reads, Bibliodate is a community that forges meaningful and page-turning connections through the common interest in literature and search for love. We want to cultivate and promote an online community that brings people together because of books. Everyone deserves to write the narrative to their own love story.
Perfect. So with that mission statement, that's really what we based a lot of our content on. You can see on our social media, this is what we started with right from the get-go, what our client was able to provide us with. And this is what our ideal plan would be for future posting. We weren't able to post actively because we believe that it was in our best interest as well as our clients to not promote a site because it wasn't ethical and because of the validity and the functionality of the current state of Bibliodate. So we were able to mock up an Instagram portrait as well as create content that our client could use in the future. So we were able to create that social media plan that included hashtags, captions, as well as posting details for connecting to boost engagement for our online resources. So like my dad mentioned, these were part of our goals in an Instagram rebrand, which included a new profile picture. You can see at the top our little bug. It has a little bee made out of it with a heart. It just makes it identifiable, unique. It's super simple and clean, easily can see it. And it also kind of plays into that bug and like love interest theme. Our feed consistency, you can see we use a consistent color scheme of muted tones that are primary, so it's relatable for most. as well as including book recommendations that are current and up to date, as well as mixed with classics, so a little bit of every age group can really relate. Our rebrand is community-based and based on our mission statement, so we wanted to create a social media page where you don't have to be a user of Bibliodate, the website, to connect with the social media accounts, which promotes sharing and just engagement on our social media platforms, which drives traffic to our website. Community-driven acknowledges the user's book recommendations as well as user testimonials, which you can see in those middle columns or the middle row. By incorporating our users into our social media pages, it gives the sense that somebody is actually using these websites and benefiting from them. Yeah, okay, so for our social media calendar, like I said, we created that cohesive flow. It's easy on the eyes. We have those book recommendations that are current. We're asking questions on our social media platforms to increase engagement and get recommendations from our users because that's who we're really trying to serve. And then we're showcasing the profiles created on Bibliodate, like I had stated.
So with the website being underdeveloped, we found a lot of opportunity to actually make suggestions to our client that he can use. And one opportunity we found was that his About Us page was like very small and like not a lot of information at all. And through like some of my research that I did and some of the research that my teammates did, we found out that all successful websites have an About Us page that is detailed and relatable. It's a powerful tool to connect with a potential user, and what we actually did to create the About Us page is we took an article of an interview that our client did with Shout Out LA, and we just tweaked it to make it more personable and relatable because there was a lot of information about the backstory of Bibliodate in that interview and the background of our client. So a lot of the research we did was on competitors, and this is just one of them. It's eHarmony. One thing that they do that's really well is they provide like articles for like on dating advice. So this creates a sense of credibility for the site, and it makes it seem like the site has the user's best interest in mind. And we think that our client can do something similar, especially since he doesn't have any subscribers to build that credibility on. This is a way he can do it.
So our campaign in review, we thought it was important to reflect back on the work we've done for our client this semester and what we hope that he takes from this campaign and implements it in the future. Overall, client satisfaction is the most important to us because he is the founder and the brain behind Bibliodate. We find that it's important that he thinks that the work we've done for him is of use to him. We're also going to be going over how much planning we put into each of the campaign goals and the intention of what we have created for the client and what we want, or what the intention is of use after. So for our first campaign goal, which was to create a brand identity and custom logo, we researched several dating websites and apps to compare aesthetics just so we can have an idea of what we wanted to build Bibliodate to be, since we had a completely clean slate to work with. We also compared clever mission statements and PR moves from other dating websites and apps to implement into the social media plan for Bibliodate as well. And the intention of completing this goal was to curate a custom logo for Bibliodate that reflects its values, which I believe we did. And our client can use that for our website, the social media, just to keep it cohesive and make Bibliodate more recognizable. And we also curated that mission statement that set up the foundation for Bibliodate and everything that Bibliodate strives to do. We just set up that foundation so that Bibliodate can take off, whether that's through social media, through exposure in person. That mission statement will be there for to set up those goals afterwards. And so for our second goal, which was to prepare content for social media platforms, the planning that went into that was comparing content and graphics posted by other book blogs or Instagram pages just to create that certain aesthetic that we were going for our target market. We gathered inspiration from those pages to create mock content for Bibliodate. And we also utilized various software such as Photoshop, Illustrator, and Canva to kind of play around and see what platform we liked best to create that content. And we found that Canva was the most efficient and easiest to use to create that content for our client. And the intention of creating all of this content for our clients was to prepare it ahead of time. So following the website launch, he had everything ready to go. He didn't have to be in a creative rut. We had everything set up for him, like hashtags, captions, images, everything like that, so that once the website is ready to go, so is the social media posting as well. So all that mock content included things like holidays, book recommendations, like feature profiles, all of that, so that everything is just set up and ready to go for him. And it was a pleasure working with such a clean slate. We had a lot of creative freedom that the client gave us. We do have a few future recommendations, keeping in mind that the website is eventually going to be launched. So finalize the website development prior to launching Bibliodate to the public, just making sure everything is clean, everything is easy to use, user-friendly on the website, just so you don't have to backtrack or fix anything on the website, just everything needs to be good to go. Using a content calendar to maximize social media presence across platforms, just having a set schedule that we already we kind of made for him, just a posting schedule just to maximize that overall online presence. And then publicizing Bibliodate at libraries, book communities, college campuses, and online reading communities, just to get in the foot in the door to exposing people to in this interest and anything like that. Yeah, we just hope that following the website launch that our client can take these future recommendations into consideration.
So in review, we discussed a brief introduction of our client and the marketplace that Bibliodate can enter into once it's ready for launch. We also discussed our resources and our revised goals that we had, such as establishing a unique brand identity, which includes a logo, a mission statement. We researched Bibliodate's competitors and how to easily pinpoint the target audience and how to market to them. We followed with a thorough overview of our social media plan and what Bibliodate can use for the future social media accounts. And then following the end of our campaign, we just hope that our client and Bibliodate can take our future recommendations and further develop Bibliodate as a brand, as a company. And we also hope that with this, it'll also provide kind of just a more professional outlook to the company overall. And we hope that our work over the semester has helped our client and helped the company grow. Thank you for your time.